Okay. That was pretty straightforward.
Pretty painless.
Painless, yes. All right. I forgot to put the no. Got our display names. Okay. So, hey, welcome to yet another edition. I'll tell you, folks, we just won't go away. We keep coming back. We keep coming back, and we keep coming back.
Bad penny.
Like a bad penny. I don't like that. Let's go with something else. Powered by. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So anyways, welcome to another edition of Modern Day Thrive. I am Dean Baker, your host, and next to me is George. How you doing, George?
I am doing fabulous. How about yourself?
I don't know. Interesting week. Just
Yeah,
ups
always.
and downs, peaks and valleys.
Yes.
I could do what Norm used to say on Cheers. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and I'm wearing Milk-Bone underwear. Yeah.
It could be about right.
Yeah, so, I don't know. So, I hear you came here all excited about what's going on in your
I'm
world.
kind of on a roller coaster right now.
Yeah, okay. Well, roller coaster means downs,
Well, ups and downs. That's
All right.
okay.
So, let's just kind of pop the big balloon, and it's like, crypto is on the rise.
It does appear to be, yes.
Bitcoin jumped up, what, 5%?
Yeah, looks like about that.
Yeah, about 5% Bitcoin. So,
Is it
and
going to
everything
sustain?
else.
We don't know.
My entire portfolio seemed to be all green plus up,
Yeah.
going north, which I'm still,
Yeah.
It's like being being a flea on the belly of an ant, looking up, going, what about me?
Yeah. I
So-
used to be up there.
Yeah. So, but hey, if it's bouncing back up, that's what we expect.
Sure.
That's what we all said. And, when we're all doing, living on the high hog, going, yeah, my Shiba is doing,
Yeah.
my anything is doing. And then, of course, we all experienced it.
Yes.
Those of us in coin experienced it. And we go, that's just kind of how, I guess it's going to be how it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're the,
Don't panic.
yeah, don't panic.
Stay in there.
Get your towel.
I'm a big proponent of if it wants to sit, just make sure it's sitting somewhere that earns interest.
Yeah. Well,
And then at that point, you're like, okay,
so
whatever.
You need to come up with maybe a list of things that people can get into
Okay.
that do
Yeah.
gain interest.
Sure.
Passive income, a list of things. Maybe it goes in our little publishing kind
Yes.
of venture, but you're gonna have to do, because
Sure.
you're doing things I still don't even know about.
Yeah, well, I switched over to FTX instead of Coinbase,
Yeah.
which pretty much all the assets that are on FTX earn interest.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Okay.
pretty much anytime something's sitting,
Right.
I'm at least earning.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm earning on Coinbase. I'm earning with Atom.
Sure. They have a
and,
handful selection of them, but it's
and
not all of
it's
them.
doing all right, considering what I've got in and what I'm getting out. It's,
Mhm.
I'm more or less just
Appreciate
kinda
the like.
parking all that money. Who sent us a like?
That would be Mr. Phil.
Hey, Phil. Nice to see you out there again. Phil, you're going to have to join us on our show one day.
One day he's going to take you up on it.
One day. So, Coinbase, my Coinbase, I hadn't looked in like over a month, maybe 2 months.
Too scared.
I just haven't looked. No, I know I'm just not going to like what I see.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't as bad as it's been a couple hours, did it over at the house and looked at it, and I go,
Yeah.
I'm looking, I'm
Squinting to see if the
cringing.
numbers
I'm
would look
kind of
better.
going, how bad? Yeah, it's bad, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
You're not bankrupt.
No, I'm still in the game. I got a bunch of coin that I can,
Yeah.
eventually.
I kind of changed my game around a little because, I use my Bitcoin to earn money daily.
You know what I want?
get paid every day.
I want to
so.
cash in for physical coins. I want
yeah.
I want
I wa-
20 million Shiba Inu coins, and I want to act like Scrooge McDuck when he goes
Put
into
'em in
his
your
vault and he starts rolling around. I want to be Scrooge McDuck, and it may cost me every bit of value to get. Probably not. It'll probably break my bank to do that, but I want to be for one day.
Yeah.
I want to be Scrooge McDuck
Be
and
rolling in it.
and rolling in all these coins. You know, if Phil, if you didn't get that you got that reference, so I'll leave it alone. If anything, you could say, you know, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, the second rerun of the dragon with all the coins.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's just not as fun as saying Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, no,
you know.
I think that's the best reference.
So yeah, you know, I think so. Maybe, you know, maybe by the end of the year.
Mhm.
Well, you said something about Bitcoin. They say it's gonna be
That's
kind
what
of
I'm
low
hearing,
for.
but they've made
some
so many
months.
predictions.
Well,
that-
who can actually say with any certainty?
Yeah,
Who you know, I can predict it's going to rain this week in Florida.
you'll probably be right.
Wait a minute. Yeah,
And you get a 50%
it'll
per day.
rain at least once this week in Florida. That's
There's
a
only one day
guarantee. You
left.
can put, folks. You can put money on Phil. You can put money on that. It will rain at least once. This is my weather prediction.
Yeah.
And your crypto will either
Yeah.
go up
Or down.
well, and it will go up and it will go down.
Yeah, in the same week.
Exactly. Prediction.
Yeah.
Whew.
Got that out
I
of
need
the
a
way.
moment now. I need a moment. So, you know, yeah. So anybody who says, oh, we're predicting, you know,
Yeah.
blah, 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 you hear that, you know, oh, I'm going to jump in just because, you know.
Sure. There's still long-term prospects for Bitcoin and coin. You know, there's still a lot of talk about, you know, a lot of regulations going to come around it, but that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I think it would be easier because
regulations, yeah, sure. They're going
mean-
to squeeze Coinbase and any other company that works within the
Oh.
than the United States economy.
Sure.
Obviously,
Sure.
they can and they will do that, and that's all they can do. Really, they can't go after what people are doing in China, or in Australia or in South America. They just can't affect them
they can
because it's
stop
a
it from coming back in or going out. But
right.
yeah.
But that's when it comes back in. It
Yeah.
comes in through a
gateways or-
portal
yeah.
that is part of the United States economy,
Yeah,
whether it's
yeah.
a bank or like Coinbase. So if you're using Coinbase, and I use Coinbase, and of course the government wants their what is that? Their capital gains tax.
Mhm.
They know about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did
Great.
see
What
that.
else you got? But I can't see them doing it much more than that unless they
No.
want to penalize people for making money.
Yeah, well,
Even more so.
you'd hope
and
not.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either. It wouldn't make much sense.
Yeah. Right now, Biden's more interested trying to get oil companies to make more oil.
Yeah,
That seems to be the only thing
That's-
I'm hearing besides all the other nonsense
Yeah.
out in the world is he's going to try. Now, oil companies are going,
yeah.
let's see,
No.
we're making so much more money now, and you want us to make more oil so we can make less, so we can work harder, work less.
Yeah.
Tell me what our show is really about.
Who would sign up for that?
Oil companies, they're the epitome of wanting to work smart, right?
Yeah.
Work smart means we're paying $5 a gallon for gas.
Yeah.
Work smart means they can keep the supplies down. Or maybe, maybe they're restricted. Maybe they are restricted. They can't drill as many wells in Alaska and the Caribbean
Yeah.
and whatnot. Or in the Gulf. I'm hesitant to believe. And then gas did drop a little bit this
It
week.
did actually.
You know.
It dropped pretty decently. Actually.
Yeah, it's like under $4.50 a gallon right
It's like
now. at least
$4.30
in
something, I think.
Florida. You've seen $4.30?
I thought I did. Yeah.
So,
But my eyes aren't the best either.
But I don't care how much now. If a Bush said, if it was a George W. or a George H.W. Bush, and they said they want to make more oil, those guys are oil people anyways.
Yeah.
But I don't see Biden getting anywhere with an oil company saying
Yeah.
we want to make you
Do this
we want you to
now."
make more oil so gas is cheaper.
Yeah.
I think that's like Grandpa, trying to, I skinned my knee and Grandpa wants to give me a quarter.
Yeah.
I just don't. And hey, I can support Biden for a lot of things, but I just don't think this one is going to have legs.
Not going to end well.
No, I think the war is just going to, once Russia dumps its oil back into the economy,
Yeah.
into the market, into the free market, because I don't think they're doing that. Is that my take on it?
I
don't think they're doing that.
I mean, some people are still buying it from them, but I don't know how much.
Right, because they're
So,
probably holding back so that they
Yeah.
can charge more and fund a war.
Yeah.
And if that's how it happens, I can say I hate it. Sure, I hate the price of oil, but I hate that there's people being bombed.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is the reckoning that who's really financing their greed right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just being ridiculous. I don't know.
I don't know what the true story is. I've heard so many stories on both sides of the camp, so I don't know who's right, who's wrong, and who's actually telling the truth.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone's right, everyone's wrong, and no
Yeah.
one's telling the truth.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, prediction.
Yeah.
So yeah, based on that, and then of course the whole idea of predicting Bitcoin will go up.
Mhm.
I just before we went online, and I'm just going to share this one thing. Then I'm going to
Yeah.
clear the stage here. But I saw this one thing where is it? Window stocks. All right, let's go into it here. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I
Stock
am.
analysts think
Let
will
me,
decline in value.
Make it bigger. 'cause
I think I can maybe.
there we go. I'm good now.
I think I can zoom in too.
Can you?
If
I'm
I zoom,
full screen.
does this make it bigger?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So here's a list of 5 stocks that will decline. Stock analysts will decline in value. Berkshire Hathaway.
I don't even understand how Berkshire Hathaway has the amount of investments they do. They don't even pay dividends.
No,
No,
they don't pay
they
dividends.
don't. And I mean,
And that's a public company, so
it is.
a
Their
public
stock
company.
price was outrageous. I mean, really expensive. When I looked at it years ago, I was like, going, "How much is their stock?" I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
So, in a way, that's kind of surprising, knowing
Yeah.
Warren Buffett
Yeah,
is,
it's Warren Buffett's
you know.
creation. I'm pretty sure it's still his company. So
And yeah. So the next on the list, AMC
that's
Entertainment.
I think that's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer. That's like saying we don't think movie theaters will be around.
I think at some point in time, they're just going to cut it straight to the streaming environment. It's probably cheaper to deliver
They're
it.
pretty damn close to that now.
I think so.
Disney, HBO, they're all releasing films.
Yeah.
Opening month, they're releasing films on their VOD streaming networks.
And saying that, actually, and I'm about to do this real soon, after my pay this week, and I get a couple more Rokus,
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the streaming service of what I have now, which is going to save me about $70 a week.
The streaming
70
service
bucks
of
a
what
month,
you
sorry.
have now.
Yeah, so I'm with DirecTV.
Oh,
I
you've
have
got
their
cable,
internet, and
so
I
you're
have
actually
cable. I
going to
have
get
the
around
boxes. I'm gonna
cutting the cable.
I'm gonna cut that portion of the cable and go to streaming, which will save me about $70 a month, which is still a good savings. I mean,
Yeah.
I can 710 a month. I can take that.
I'm surprised you're hanging in there as long as you have. I know.
Well,
I
I was going to convert to a couple other systems and go to over the air,
Yeah.
and I just hadn't got there yet.
Yeah.
So, and maybe I will still at some point. This will maybe be revision 1. Save some money now.
When I don't know what I'm
Revision 2 later.
watching, I throw it on Pluto TV
yeah, sure.
or Tubi. Or,
Yeah, sure.
when I just don't know what I want to watch, I just throw that. Or I turn on my little rabbit ears and I watch
Yeah.
local channels.
Yeah,
and
sure.
and I am looking for a higher power antenna
Yeah, sure.
because I don't think the ones I've got are. I think I can
I mean, you
really
can get
push
like
out. I want to hit
100
Tampa.
You can
I
get
wanna-
150 miles, I think, with
Yeah.
some of the nicer ones.
I want to hit Tampa,
You
which
can.
is 100 miles away,
Yeah.
and 80 to 100.
Yeah,
I wanna-
150
I wanna
is
hit
what some of
stations
the
and
bigger ones
some of those,
spec
yeah.
out about 150 miles.
But I'm going to go up on the roof and I'm going to attach something up there. And
Yeah, I think I'll mount mine in the attic, but
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
as fine.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going on the roof, but
So,
Oh,
or,
yeah.
or you can bury a cable and run it to one of your trees in the backyard and put it up 20, 30 feet in the air.
I wonder.
You could,
Yeah, I
Just bury
wonder
a cable.
if that distance up would really give you.
but it would be free of You know,
Hey, obstructions.
yeah, like
yeah.
your roof is an obstruction.
Gotcha. Yeah.
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 Your house is an obstruction. So
We got one at
yeah.
work that one of the guys brought in because he wasn't using it anymore. And it's just a bar,
Yeah,
and it does really well.
right.
I mean, we get quite a bit from that.
So third on the list was Silverback Therapeutics.
What the heck is that?
Sounds like they're into they're it's a
sounds
medical
like some
company.
type of
Therapeutics,
medical,
fine. Decipher Pharmaceutical Company. All right.
Well, that's
okay.
kind of surprising.
Well, you never know what kind of pharmaceuticals.
true,
you
yeah.
know. There's talk of a cancer pill, and you
Yeah,
know maybe
yeah.
they're not the ones
Mm-hmm.
coming out with it. So you never know. Pharmaceutical company. Sure, I'm sure a lot of them go under.
and Beyond.
And Bed Bath and Beyond, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of.
I didn't think they were even around anymore.
No, they are, and it's.
I know them
you
all.
they're-
I'm at they're not there.
It's a trendy. It's very trendy.
Yeah.
It's a little highbrow. It's a little
You know, funny thing. The only thing I
middle
ever remember
income
from
soccer
them
mom
is
kind
you go
of
in there and
place.
you get huge clearance deals. So I'm like, how do you stay in business if that's all you ever, you know?
Not when 99%. You go in there, they might have 5 or 10
Couple
items.
things,
Sure,
yeah.
they're blasting out inventory, but when you walk in there, and I've been in there, and you've got pretty highbrow stuff.
Yeah.
It's not quite like going into I can't even,
Other stores.
know the higher end stores, but Bed Bath and Beyond, it's it's not
a decent
it's not
selection, if I
Walmart.
remember,
It's
though.
definitely not Walmart,
No,
but it's
yeah.
but it's I can't even think of the name, but so that is not surprising.
Yeah.
Any store that's kind of highbrow that still has to have a physical location is
And most
not,
of them rely on mall locations, which in a lot of cases are
no,
dying.
no. A lot of Bed Bath and Beyonds, they wind up being standalone.
Oh, really?
There
I
are a
don't think
lot.
I've ever
There are a lot
seen
of
a standalone.
standalone. You don't. I mean, sure they're in malls, but
Mhm.
we've talked about what the malls are up to right now. And,
Yeah.
And funny thing is, malls are the last mall I went to. I think I told you about
Florida
that.
Mall?
Florida Mall, and it was doing extremely well. Of
Yeah.
course, it's part of.
It's got a
the-
really good location.
It's got a good look because it's so near. It's the only mall that's near International Drive, which is
Yeah.
the tourist area.
Actually,
so
Millennium Mall is not too far from there, the other direction, but you have to be on the other side.
no, it's actually closer,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Something about Florida Mall
Yeah.
has.
That's a huge mall.
you
It's
know,
a huge footprint.
It is, and it's got a hotel
Oh, yeah, that's right.
attached to it,
Yeah,
and
which is a smart idea.
yeah, and pretty incredible. Last time I walked through there, but in most of the other malls, I have not been in the
Oviedo's
Millennium
dead.
Mall, huh?
Oviedo Mall's dead.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
and
And stores are leaving,
I understand that. So
Actually, I was
So
down on
it's
50
not-
the other day.
what's that?
I was down on 50
Yeah,
because I wanted to go down to the music store down there.
yeah.
So many vacant.
There's a music store.
Yeah.
Oh,
believe
Sam
it or not.
Ash?
I think it's Sam Ash, yeah.
Yeah.
But so much vacancy around there. I mean, just big lot stores just down, and have been for years.
Well, the place we drove by
Mm-hmm.
coming here from my house was there's a new gym,
Okay. I think I saw
kind
it.
of like
It's on
a
the
Planet
corner.
Fitness. Yeah, right
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
corner there.
Uh-huh.
I can't think of the name of it, but I got to tell you, the other day I drove by, the parking lot was full.
Really?
I mean,
Because of the gym?
this used to be a grocery store, Winn-Dixie. So
so it's
there,
big.
I mean, there had to have been 400 or 500 cars in that parking lot.
Wow.
I mean, it was packed, and
That's
these
a good
people
day.
have been open less than 2 years, maybe less than a year,
Mhm.
and they've got that kind of
Yeah.
they got that kind of place. So, and everywhere I look at when I was looking for commercial space,
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing more and more gyms, workout facilities, yoga facilities, all these facilities, a trainer, that's the first thing they want to do
Yeah.
is they get a bunch of people that want to train,
Yeah.
and then they get a facility
Yeah.
and get everyone on a
Sure.
monthly paying basis.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
all
and
the
it,
restrictions
it,
are pretty
it
well
seems
balanced,
like
so.
I don't care as much as microbreweries are,
Mm-hmm.
just anywhere.
Yeah.
You could be in the most depressed part of a neighborhood of a city,
Yeah.
and there'll be 3-4 microbreweries that just want to. Why? Well, maybe they got in real estate, which you know, cheap to rent there. And of course, through the magical world of gentrification, they just kind of take over.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, microbreweries, you know, bars, churches, gyms, you know,
I think there's one in Longwood over by where I work that's in the back of someone's house.
yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty
So-
popular.
So I'm not really surprised, other than Berkshire Hathaway, I'm not really surprised that these other guys, you know, of course it just jumped.
I know. Everything just did.
Bed Bath & Beyond it says it's a live feed and it just jumped. So it's kind of like,
It looked like everything just refreshed in the upper.
yeah,
But, you know, that could be a spurt, too. You know.
stocks that will decline. I didn't even go beyond. So yeah, I don't know. This
My
is
portfolio
this might as well
hasn't
be
tanked.
this
It's-
might as well be written in Greek for me. So I just saw it with I recognized a couple of the companies listed here,
Mm.
and of course AMC movie theaters. I'm like, you know, yeah, I don't care how many Top Gun Mavericks are going to come out in the
Yeah.
next year. I just don't see AMC theaters and all the other ones. What is 3 or 4 of
The
them?
couple times I've been there,
Yeah.
it was really empty.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a handful of people.
You want to go
In the
to get
theater.
an entire theater by yourself or for 10 people? Pick any time of any day,
Yeah.
and you know, and it's pretty much empty. I don't even enjoy them because now they have those overstuffed leather seats, and I wind up sitting in them.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sweating.
suck
I
you
know I sweat in leather
Yeah.
seats, you know, and you're in a movie for 2 to 3 hours,
On a good day.
you know, and I'm like, no.
30 minutes of previews.
Oh my God, yeah, 3+ hours. Anyway, so I just saw that and I thought, you know, that was kind of interesting enough. Let's go back out of here. Stop.
So I didn't read the article, but they were talking about one of the bigger banks, like Goldman Sachs or one of those, that actually is starting to offer crypto-backed loans. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Crypto back.
Yeah, so it means you can get a loan, stake your crypto, you can't sell it, it gets locked up into a fund. So
Yeah.
basically, it's a collateralized
So there.
loan. That was a hard word to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing for coin,
Right.
you know, 'cause it gives it more utility. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
All right. So tell us about what's going on in your
Oh
your.
boy, yeah. Last week has been very interesting for me. So obviously,
You don't have to. You don't have to give a lot of numbers and stuff
I've
like
been,
that.
well, I've been in a
just-
couple programs I've been running, and they're consistent payers.
Mhm.
It's a 2% payout. So whatever, you know, if you
Daily.
have daily.
Daily, 2% daily payouts, which
You
means
know.
you get a payment. When does it usually happen? Beginning or end
It's
of the day?
usually in the morning.
Yeah.
It's not an exact
So you're probably
time.
getting paid from the day before that.
Well, so they're running their investments.
Yeah.
So they're investing
yeah.
with your money. So you're trusting them to invest.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've seen sometimes where it's not till 11 o'clock because obviously they're still running through their cycle to get whatever numbers they need to get.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have different tiered platforms.
Right.
They have 2%, they have 3%, they have 4%, and you know they have to cover those dollars to be able to present those type of dollars to whoever you know is investing with them.
Okay.
I'm at the 2% right now. I do plan on getting to 3%.
Trying to get to 3. Yeah.
I am going to get to 3, probably very soon.
Daily. So that's at 5 days a week.
That's 5
That's
days a week.
15%. Meaning
15.
if you've got
So you have 10 grand in there because that's the cutoff.
you got 10
for-
grand to get in
for that. That's
as that,
$1,500.
every week.
That's not a bad number to pull in.
Yeah.
You know, I think we were looking. I've been in there what, a month and a half.
6 weeks, I think
Yeah.
you've been in,
So,
and you've been pulling down 10%.
and I've been tearing up.
Yeah.
You know, slowly.
Yeah.
You know, initially I was literally reinvesting every day when I got the money coming in, boom, and it was growing fast when I
Yeah.
did that. I had slowed that down a little bit because I was going to start taking some of the money out,
Right.
but I got some changes going on in the back end that's going to allow me to bring a nice dollar figure, which will get me over the 10 grand.
So your goal is to get in over 10 grand with
My
one
goal
of
is to
these
get
and
in
hit
over 10
15% a week, and
And I'm in multiple programs. I'm not
Yeah.
just in one.
all right.
They won't both be over 10 grand initially, but eventually they will be.
So you'll
I think
be
10
at-
grand's
so
kind
you'll
of the
be
sweet
at
spot.
2% a day, or
Yeah, I'll be at
10
2%
a
a day.
week. And if you package them all up and you're hitting 10 grand,
Yeah.
all right, 10%. That's $1,000 a week. I don't know too many people
Yeah, that's-
that can do that passively.
That's pretty good passive side income money.
And what you do is you leave it at 10 and
Mhm.
collect a paycheck from it.
Sure.
Okay, there's your paycheck. Now, save 35, 40% for taxes if
Yep.
that's all you're going to do.
Sure.
So now, say pull down $300, pay taxes with it, and now you're pulling down after taxes $700 a week.
That's not bad.
$700 a week. How long will it take you to pay you back your investment?
It's like at 2%, 10 weeks.
No.
Well, if you're
no,
taking
that's-
the 30 out,
if
then
you're
yeah,
taking the
yeah,
30
yeah.
out,
So it would be
you
a
know,
little bit more.
yeah. 10 weeks will give you seven grand.
Yeah.
Another 3 grand will be another 5 weeks after that.
That's not bad.
Because you're not compounding anymore. You're pulling the money out.
Yeah, if you're just pulling
But
out.
and that's I wouldn't recommend anyone putting all their eggs in a basket, because it's still someone's out there investing it.
Then
which
you're at
means
100% risk. Yeah.
Then you're at 100% risk. So you spread it out, betting on 2 different horses to win, which
Yeah.
they do,
Yeah, yeah.
and that way your risk is
Yes.
cut in half at least. And the goal is if you've already been in 6 weeks. Now,
Mhm.
had you had 10 grand in
Yeah.
for 6 weeks,
Oh, wow.
okay, that would have been $6,000.
Yeah.
In 6 weeks, you would have recouped 60% of your money.
Which is insane. I mean, that's
In 6 weeks.
Yeah.
In the amount of time it took for you to just feel them out,
yeah,
if you had put the money in 6 weeks ago,
yeah.
you would have collected, some of that money, most of that money back.
Yes.
The majority of that money back.
And you got a lot of
And
options
cut
at
your
that
risk.
point.
And
What do you
cut
want to
your-
do?
And cut your risk
Yes.
down to 4 grand.
Yes.
Now you're making $1,000 a week with a $4,000 risk
Yeah.
until
It's a much nicer number.
until you break even 4 more weeks.
Yeah.
And then at 10 weeks, your risk is
Then you're riding the bank. At that point.
you're the house, and you're the house's money.
Yeah.
Um,
And I would
So-
still take some of that money that's coming back in because it pays directly to you. It doesn't. The money that every day
right. It's
comes
nobody's
directly to your account. It doesn't
yeah.
stay in the program.
Yeah, it comes to you whether you like it or not.
Yeah. So at that point, I can say, all right, well, I'm going to reinvest it somewhere, but maybe I pick another program to run
Right.
to again diversify that risk.
Right.
In today's charge climate, I don't know that I
That's-
trust anyone.
That's what we
platform to
like
be,
for passive income. We
yeah.
like multiple streams of
Multiple.
income. We like that money coming in from different places. We don't like putting our eggs in one basket.
Of course, we're in Novatech, both of us,
Yeah,
and
Doing all right.
that's 3% a week. I got no complaints there. 'Cause
doing all right. If
You can't touch that in the
and
average
it grows
institution.
bigger as the weeks go on because
Correct.
you're compounding.
You're compounding,
You
yeah.
got to flip it
Weekly,
back in,
yes.
and I'm up. From a
Unless you forget,
I might have forgot. I don't know what I did last week. I might have forgot. There was one week I forgot, and then I doubled up the next week. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It jumped bigger,
Yeah.
but still I lost some. I probably lost a few bucks and
sure,
missed
in
interest.
reinvest money, yeah. Because the bonus account money does not incorporate your
Right.
your interest earned.
But when you're doing it and you also have a job,
Yeah.
you can't always just go, oh, damn, all right, I'll do it tomorrow. I
Yeah.
forget tomorrow. I'll
Yeah.
do it Monday. I'll forget Monday. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll just wait till next week,
Yeah.
and then boom. Then you eventually get around to doing it. So, who's in? Somebody just jumped in. Well, somebody's coming through. All right, well, welcome
So-
to the webcast, to
So yeah,
everybody
I
who's
mean,
jumping in.
For me, things are looking up really good because the amount of income I'll be pulling in there is technically maybe more than my income is pulling in today.
10 I'm still floored by this. 10 grand
Mm-hmm.
is paying back. I'm wondering. Here's the thing, and this is, I probably would not recommend it, but if you didn't have 10 grand, but say you had a credit card with $10,000 limit on it,
Limit, yeah.
can you get the kind of interest, knowing that you're paying close to 25% interest to the bank?
Yeah.
Can you get the interest to is it?
To offset.
Can you? Yeah. Can you?
The way you would probably want to do that is there's cycles. Like sometimes when you buy at a certain time,
Yeah.
you get the float where you may potentially get a 30-day float before anything's due.
All right.
So you probably wouldn't want to do, even if you had 10 grand available, do a full 10 grand. You would do what you would pull enough in to pay it back,
All right.
and then leave that money in and start over.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it simple. If all of a sudden you had $1,000 a week,
Yeah.
you had 10 grand in this account, and you're pulling
Yeah.
down 1,000 a week.
Sure.
In 10 weeks, you've got the money to pay back the bank debt.
You do, and you
Plus, you'll
probably
you'll-
would still offset the interest because remember it's 2% a day. It's
Plus, we're only
not
talking-
APY.
Right. No, I
What your credit card is.
I
So,
understand that, but even if in 10 weeks, that balance, first of all, you've had to make some minimum payments.
Sure.
But that balance has appreciated
Yeah.
in size.
Yes. So it's growing too.
If it's 25 or even 30% a year, okay, 30% is $3,000 a year divided by 5, which is about $6,000.
Okay.
So in theory, if you know,
I mean,
now I'm sure you could have managed that down by just making
Sure.
those $1,000 payments right off the bat weekly. You could make
Or bigger
$1,000 a week payment
Correct. Yes.
off of that,
Yeah.
and then you're not paying all that excessive interest.
Well, not only that, the beauty is you still have the 10 grand in the program. So once that's paid back,
You're free
again,
and clear.
you're free
So
and clear.
literally in maybe even an extra couple of weeks,
Mm-hmm.
even an extra month, 10 to 14 weeks,
Mhm.
you're out of that debt.
yeah,
Wow, that's
and moving upwards.
that's weird, you know. And I'm like, I wouldn't recommend it, but
I mean, I wouldn't say it's not out of the question. It's just you'd probably want to start with a smaller number. Put 100 in. Put 300 in,
Yeah.
and work those numbers for a little bit, and then go. Well,
So
now
if-
my
if-
300 is
if you're
now paid
bankrupt,
back.
if you're bankrupt, can the bank come after your Bitcoin that you purchased with that money?
That's a good question. I would imagine you would have
This
to
is
declare it
the-
to the courts. I would imagine. I mean,
Yeah, but
if
if
you're
you-
caught not declaring it to the courts, you'd have all kinds of
That
problems.
would be, yeah. I just, I'm sure it hasn't happened. Or maybe it's probably happened because I thought of
Oh, it
it.
had
And
to
I'm not somebody who just invents shit.
Sure.
But I'm like, all right, that could actually, somebody could have saying, I'm going to buy into this program with a max out a credit card,
Yeah.
and boom, I got $1,000 a week coming back to me.
Well,
That's
in
a-
this
that's
scenario,
actually-
there's a little bit less risk because it's not. Whereas you have to worry about the value of Bitcoin going up or down. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
You're getting 2% of your dollar value. Now you're getting it back in Bitcoin. So obviously that value that's sitting in that account at that point in time will float because
Yeah.
it's going to go up and down based on the price of Bitcoin.
Unless
Still
you-
getting 2% a day.
Yeah.
I don't care about the Bitcoin number at that point in time. I really don't.
So what kind of return do you get on your Bitcoin? Some of your Bitcoin.
It depends on what Bitcoin's valued at. So,
So is it a?
but at the day I get it, it's $6 no matter what. It's
Yeah.
just the Satoshi number that's equivalent to
Yeah.
is different.
All right.
but it's still
Just
$6.
flying over my head.
And however you look at it now, the good part is if Bitcoin swings up, obviously it's worth more money to you at that point in time.
Yeah.
So
When you cash it.
when you cash it in, or when you cycle it back in, let's say you want to reinvest it.
Right.
If you got $32 worth and all of a sudden it's 35 worth, you reinvest it. You're just
That could be an
Increasing.
interesting. It's not illegal as long as you're paying everybody.
Sure.
It's a loan you're taking, a high interest loan you're taking from your credit card company to start something, and people do that with their businesses all the time. They
Sure.
take out a credit card, they go, I'm going to use this to finance my business for a
Yeah.
little while.
Sure.
And if this is my business is me collecting $1,000 a week from
Yeah.
from this investment.
Yeah.
in my head, that's a bit. So
Sure.
it's not a legal thing. It's something that I'm getting nervous just talking about it, you know, because it's just like, wait a minute, I'm waiting for the downtick here, and I'm not really seeing it, because even paying 26-30% a year
Yeah.
interest, fuck, I'll be out of it in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
10,
Oh, yeah.
12 weeks,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
be out of it. So what do I care whether I spent, you know, a couple of thousand on something that financed me to make 50 grand in the next year?
Yeah. So I'm
And-
using my life insurance. That's where I'm borrowing from because it's cheap.
Yeah.
Technically, don't have to pay it back. I will,
Yeah.
but unless I pass before you get a chance to do that. But so for me, it's an easy avenue for money.
Right.
I'm not being hounded by a credit card company for that payment.
Well, hounded. I mean, as long as you're not missing payments and you only have to make one a month.
Well, yeah,
And you're
just
making
meaning
weekly-
it's I'm not required at a specific time to make that payment back. I control that.
And what's a $10,000 payment? Isn't that like about $400 or $500? $400-500 a month
I would
to keep them
believe so.
happy,
I would
just to
believe so.
keep them where you're underneath your over. You know,
Yeah.
about $400-500 a month.
There's a ratio they use on percentage, and I forget what the number is, and it may have changed.
Right.
It's a percentage of balance. So.
Right, but if I recall, last time I had 10,000 on a credit
Mhm.
card, I was probably spending close to $400-500,
Okay.
and that was for a high interest.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
$400-500 a month on minimum payments. That's what we're talking about,
Yeah,
which is not
yeah.
what you want to do.
Not
but
not the way to
but
go.
if you can pay even 1,000 a month back to that,
Yeah,
then not only are you reducing all the interest they're collecting on you,
yeah. You're knocking the principal down too.
and you're knocking the principal, and you can get out and you can parlay it off into 6 to 10 months, and
Yeah.
and boom, you're of course, I'm thinking you can do it in 10 weeks.
Possibly.
Well, and
It depends on what you.
unless something goes horribly wrong.
Well, yeah, that or if you're either.
We heard thunder
still
just before the
investing-
show went live, and we're thinking,
Yeah.
yeah,
Are we
okay,
gonna make it?
just when things go horribly wrong. No, I mean, it does sound too good to be true. Why
Yeah.
isn't everyone doing this? Well, maybe everyone who knows about it is doing it,
Yeah.
and
I had never heard about it, and it's been around for years.
and
I'm just like, wow, I really wish I had heard about this years ago.
I don't know.
Even putting $300 in would have been a
Well, before, I mean, years ago, they probably weren't taking it in coin.
probably not. They were probably being funded differently, just straight through your bank account or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, fund transfer or whatever.
I agree.
And regard. I mean, and that doesn't have to predate 12 years or 14 years
Mhm.
when Bitcoin was created. Or
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of. I don't know. I don't know why
I don't know either.
it's
I mean, it's
Is
kind of
it?
hidden.
it is a bit hidden. Of course,
I'm glad I found it.
Well, so you need to come up. You need to come up with a list.
I can.
Of coins or ways to turn your coin to,
To money.
turn some
Yeah.
income, even if it's incredibly low, passive. I've got coin in Atom, and eventually, if that's the only coin, if all my other coins start kind of doing something, I'm just going to find 2 or 3 coins within Coinbase,
Mhm.
and they're going to pay 5%,
Sure.
4 or 5% a year.
Hmm.
I'll be like, okay, just as long
Let it
as they're
ride.
making something. I looked at my Atom, and it pulled down. What did I say, about $6 a month?
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's going in the right direction.
Sure.
And then of course, if the value of the coin
Goes up. Yeah.
goes up,
Sure.
it's down now, but they will go.
Sure.
They will move. So.
I think everything has a point in time when it's going to do that.
Right. So, yeah, you got to come up with a list of, a few places people can park their coin in if they're going to get into coin. And I do think so. I think it's probably, being that they don't track a company like Berkshire Hathaway or
Yeah.
Bed Bath and Beyond. You could invest in them, sure. Why
Yeah,
invest
that's
in
like
AMC
$2 dollar.
AMC movie theaters, or why invest in them when we think it's like you have to really last week we talked about Tesla
Hmm.
and Elon. In the last couple of weeks we talked about Tesla and Elon Musk, and and they're having so many problems with
Manufacturing.
manufacturing falling short
Sure.
that they can't put enough cars on the road. I think people want cars like crazy.
I think they do too.
We've talked about that in the last month. It seems like a lot of people I know. I'd be in the market for a car that's better on fuel.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 vehicles now. One's got to go away, and I'll probably have to have something that gets maybe better than 30 miles a gallon.
Gotcha.
And I think that would be a smart, because all of a sudden you double the amount of, you cut your gas in half, you double the amount, my car gets about 18 miles a gallon. It's
Mhm.
not a great new car. It's just, it's a car. So, but if I can double my range, I'm cutting my gas in half. And people are doing that right now. Rob just got his.
Oh, that's right. He got
his,
electric.
He got a
Yeah.
full-on electric vehicle, and he paid handsomely for it. I was looking at that Ford pickup truck, and
Mhm.
I think that's high on my list, especially if it can get better than 30 miles a gallon on a pickup. That's entirely acceptable. But I think I was thinking the other day, and I'm not sure if this is even if you're getting any kind of subsidy from the government for buying hybrid or electric, or I know they're doing that with. I know they're doing that with your home, that you're
with
getting,
solar, yeah.
with solar energy in your home. But I just,
I haven't heard of it with cars.
why wouldn't you? If it takes,
Well, especially if that's what they want.
yeah. I mean, clearly, I think we'd benefit across the board.
That could be the next form of a rebate program, or
Why wouldn't we
yeah.
rebate somebody for spending their money on an electric or hybrid vehicle where
Sure.
they're either removing fuel expense, or why wouldn't they?
Sure.
Why wouldn't they want that,
I gotta step away real quick. I'll be right back.
And great. So while George is getting a drink of water, I will keep things moving here. So anyway, some of the other things we've talked about in the past are, we've talked about ways to cut expenses. And earlier in the episode, George was talking about removing his cable bill. That is entirely one of those things that, if you're spending $100 a month, $1,200 a year, that's a big chunk of money just bleeding out. We eat out. We do all kinds of things. We spend money. This last year we've spent a lot of time at home, and of course, eating out now is more of an incredible release from being cooped up in the house. So now we're out. We're trying not to go out and get sick, but we're trying to make more out of the money that we're earning, which isn't all that much. So
I think that's a good idea. I mean, if they really want people to invest in electric, why wouldn't they come up with a?
Maybe there is.
I haven't heard of it, but I would have thought I would have at least heard of it at once.
I would have thought Rob would have said, I just spent a bunch of money. Why can I not get some sort of, of course he's saving money by not having, to hit the pump every week.
Yeah.
But the idea is,
mentioning that, I happened to be watching TV, and there was a guy and I think it was in Utah, and it was like the only station in that area that had the Tesla refuel pumps.
Right.
And the guy was bagging them, like putting bags over them, because he was saying that Tesla wasn't paying, because they're basically renting them in the gas station. And the guy's saying, they won't return my calls. They're not paying me. He says, I'm going to bag them until, I start getting payments. That's kind of scary when you think about that, if that's how that works. Because what if that situation is actually happening and it's happening across the board? Eventually, other retail locations would do the same thing.
Right.
Because they're not doing it for free. They're supposed to, they're basically renting out their space for X amount of dollars, which is part of their income flow.
All right, so there is a fine tax credit for electric cars 2022.
Oh. I wonder if that's real or if that's like one of those sites that's like,
I
here, put
don't
in
know.
your
I'm afraid to
put in your zip
now
code.
You say that, now I'm afraid to actually. Now, if I recall doing my TurboTax, I don't recall there being an actual hybrid
question?
vehicle. That I don't remember.
And it would
being
be there.
asked.
That would definitely be the place where it would be.
Because if that were the case, then now there's all kinds of incentives you get from the actual the manufacturers.
Sure.
But they're just trying to move inventory, so
Correct,
you
yeah.
can't really. You're just juggling, the savings around.
I could see that in the future, though, that may be the potential. I mean, if that's where they wanted to move, because the average,
Yeah,
person probably can't afford it.
yeah. The only thing that's popping up are search engines.
Yeah,
Those real
Mhm,
weird, the
uh-huh.
ones that fish
Click
your,
me.
yeah, those click me sites. Frequentsearches.com.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right, like that. Yeah. Ooh, they're really giving Google a run for their money. Anyway,
If it were something.gov, you may think about, well, maybe we'll take a look at it, but I haven't heard of anything, and even all the programs that I do watch that talk about, the push to go to
Right.
electric, they would have mentioned it. They would have at least said, well, there's this, but you're still talking what your low end is probably 50 grand. I can't remember in my lifetime me buying a car that was in that range, period.
Yeah,
Never.
That's still yeah.
I mean, that, in a lot of time of my life, that would have been out of reach. I buy a $6,000 motorcycle.
Right. Yeah, we're on a different scale as
Yeah.
to what they think that a low end car.
And
low
I
end
think a
car.
lot of
I think a
people are
low
that
end
way.
new car is about 20 grand,
Yeah,
and
sure.
that's and that's definitely something.
And that's doable, but it's still for some
there.
can be a decent amount of payment. Depending
I
on which
saw
you put
on
down.
YouTube. I saw a company in, I think it was in England, that offered a sub $20,000 electric vehicle,
Okay.
but the range was like 60 miles.
Oof.
Which means, well, I mean, think about it. How
Well,
many miles a day do you go?
I go 13, 14 to work, so it could.
So your range for that day is at
To and from work, maybe the
and if
grocery
you
store.
could and if you could plug in at work,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be great? But the idea is that, probably maybe, I don't know, maybe half or more than half the workforce,
Yeah.
their drive to work is probably less than 30 miles.
Well, right now, huge utility for it because a lot of people are working from home. They're really just going grocery store shopping.
Right.
Local Home Depot stores.
So so there's a company, I saw it on YouTube. It's in the UK, and they're trying to get government subsidy. And it wasn't a car manufacturer. It was take an existing car, and they have
Convert
a conversion kit
Oh, that's kind of cool.
that you can do to certain cars.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about
I wonder what's really involved there because.
I looked at it, and it's just pulling out the engine and just
Because you gotta
reconfiguring
you're
and
having to
putting,
push that
that
drivetrain alone. It would really be a drain. Now, if that part changed, the vehicle would have to be lighter.
the drive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically removing the engine, removing the gas tank,
Mhm.
removing, and
All the real
connecting
heavy
the
stuff.
motor directly to the drivetrain.
Okay.
So it's
Interesting.
not anything different than you wouldn't be doing building one.
Yeah.
They're just having an electric motor attached directly to the drive shaft or to the transfer case or whatever.
Yeah.
And at that point, there's no extra. I mean, there's
yeah.
nothing different. It's just.
And you took
so
a huge weight off of the vehicle.
so
which-
I think they were taking like these Fiat cars, the small
Okay.
cars, stuff like that, and then they were making them. And of course, they'll do the same. They'll do 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but they're not going to go very far doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, they put just enough batteries in to give you a 60-mile range.
yeah.
I'm not sure how that'd work in Florida because you want to have air conditioning in your car,
Yeah.
and you want to make sure that
Yeah.
that
Which is a drain.
you know, definitely the juice has to be worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
But if you could take a car that you owned or purchased for less than 10 or 5 grand, put a $6,000 kit into it.
Sure.
That maybe the government subsidizes some of that.
Maybe.
You know.
Yeah.
And before you know it, now you've got mechanics that probably could use that know these cars because they, you know, the your basic automotive places, unless it's at a dealer, they have to be retrained every time a new batch of cars
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah. They're
So
always
now
training.
these are guys that have known these cars, you know, upwards and downwards, and now I would think that once you start making these kits, I'd put one in my car.
Yeah.
It's got 200,000 miles on it. Might you know,
I think it would be a
might
cool
do me
little
all
project,
right. And if I
actually.
could get 60 to 100-mile range with it,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, for what you do around here and the most of your patterns.
6 miles to work, 6
Yeah,
miles
you-
back.
yeah,
I could
it's-
do that 3, 4, 5 times a day
Yeah.
or whatever, and
Sure.
and still plug it in between. So
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things where, you know. But I think if Biden's going to do anything, he better start figuring out how to get people off the
Yeah.
oil teat.
Yeah.
You know, get them off. You know, and start. There's enough.
I mean, they got to start somewhere.
There's enough cars manufacturers building stuff. Now all we need is kits.
Yeah.
You know, and they're even, you know, I think these UK cars, they're buying Tesla parts.
Oh, really?
I think they're buying like the, you know, whatever whether it's the
White
electric
label,
motors or the whatever the transmission kind of attachment. Because once you get past that, then of course, then you need the common power module that you can plug into certain pumps.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you know, I got no problem doing it. I have a problem with paying 50 grand.
Yeah.
You know, for an electric or hybrid vehicle that's, you know, it's great. It's the future. You know, Teslas are $70,000, $80,000, $90,000.
Yes.
But I think I think if you have more than one vehicle, then one of them absolutely should be electric.
If you stay local most of the time, I said that's the way to go. If you travel a lot, longer distance, anything they have out there today probably wouldn't get you there.
Well, you know, all the public transportation went to like natural gas.
Yeah.
And
that's cleaner too, if I
That's
understand.
very
correctly.
clean, you know.
'Cause
That's
doesn't
what
the
pretty
Waste
much
Management produce
saved
that?
the smog in California and LA.
Really?
You know, was that they converted everything to natural gas.
wasn't
and
aware of
then-
that.
Oh God, LA used to be just covered in smog.
I've heard that, but I've never.
and I remember the first time I went there, I was sick. It was back in the 90s,
really?
and I was sick
Yeah.
just being there.
Just because you're so used to
Just
air
because
here
I
and-
felt like I had been just sucking on a tailpipe, and it was just I just felt ill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then more recently, I've been there, and of course, all their vehicles or all their buses, all their,
All the
you
big
know,
stuff that really
a lot
chugs.
that. Plus, I'm sure California's got more incentives for getting people in electric cars and whatnot, you know. But and of course, that's a place that has so grown,
Yeah.
you know. And they have no more land, so they're just kind of, you know. I think, I think. Just the pollution alone will, you know, and people talk about, you know, can imagine all the, you know, the fuel, the whatever it takes to manufacture all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, and it's the difference between one-time manufacturing and
A lifetime of
and a
Too much smoke.
lifetime of puffing out carbon CO2s out of your vehicle.
yeah,
I mean, how do you can't compare. Of course, yes, we're going to be having to figure out a way to get lithium out of the ground.
yeah,
Okay. I've seen how they're trying to do it. It's kind of interesting. And of course, might not be environmentally friendly for those areas that they're pulling it out of the ground, but let's just compare that to where we're getting the oil,
yeah.
you know. And is the oil just going to run out one day,
That's a good question.
you know?
We don't know. I
No.
don't think anyone knows that answer.
No. Will it run out? Yeah, I'm probably thinking it will. We'll refine the hell out of it, and you know, or do we just kind of, you know, maybe lithium is the next thing, or what's the thing after that?
Yeah,
You know, it used to be nickel for batteries. It used to be
Mhm.
nickel metal. Went from lead acid to nickel metal, to NiCads to nickel metal hydride, now to lithium ion.
yeah.
And who knows what's next?
And there probably will be a next.
So, anyway.
So the question is, what does it take to produce that? I mean, I don't know why they can't make, you know, as time goes on, they'll have to make the mechanisms that they produce the stuff
Yeah.
with. And why not?
Solar panels.
Sure.
Batteries, recharge.
I mean, the limitation, unfortunately, on solar panels, if there's no light
yeah.
and you're not backing it with a battery, it's only as good as your light is,
Yeah.
you know. So,
That's why we could take Nevada. Just cover it with solar panels.
good.
We'll probably like fuel, I don't know, just half the country off of Nevada.
I'm really surprised they haven't done more with the oceans, because the oceans is an ever-moving,
Oh
Sure.
yeah, the
and they're doing some turbines, I believe, in there. But
like in that kind of ride the waves and
Mhm.
generate.
Yeah, when it
yeah,
punches through it,
Yeah, yeah.
and apparently it generates electricity.
I saw a video years ago, not maybe in the last 10 years, where they were going to take roads
Mm-hmm.
and put solar panels in the roads.
Interesting.
That way, now not only do you have a way to generate electric, you can move it. So now you don't need telephone poles and
Gotcha.
power lines. Now you've got a constant connected power line going across your roads.
That'd be interesting. Wonder how they protect it.
It looked like it's the same kind of thing. It's just a little bit more,
Mhm.
you know, strategically built for vehicles running up and down the thing.
I don't know if
But-
you've seen it, but I'm even seeing the solar technology getting to the point where your entire roof, you know, instead of having a tile, you have an actual little
Right.
panel.
right.
It's a solar panel. We were talking about that at work today, and my only question was, well, I'm guessing that those little panels really don't produce a lot, but because you're covering your whole roof, because otherwise you would be generating way too much, and the power companies will only accept so much from you.
Well, based on right now, solar panels are, I think they somehow go a little higher, but the average is about 100 watts.
Probably, yeah.
You're generating for a typical panel, like
Mhm.
a 3 foot by 2 foot panel, generates about 100 watts, you know, and normally a house would need 30 of them,
Mm-hmm.
which is, you know, 3,000 watts
Which is a lot,
of
yeah.
power to kind of keep the house going and to charge batteries and whatnot. So, we fall into this, and it's still on my to-do list, and maybe getting
try
these
to- yeah.
passive streams going, then
Yeah.
it might start having to,
Have it quicker.
well, I just, I want to look at, is there a way to take my old car
Mm.
and make it electric?
Make it electric.
Even if,
That'd be a fun project
I would,
if it's doable.
if I gotta strap a couple of solar panels to the roof, just to extend my range,
and a sail just in case.
and pull a trailer of solar panels behind it. Can it work? Sure, it absolutely can work. Having the time to do it. So I guess that's going to be on your list of when you when you walk away, you've got all this income kind of.
Remember, I want to buy a hot rod,
Yeah,
which I still do.
yeah,
I would like to
an
convert
electric one.
I've seen it. I
Yeah.
actually saw that someone had built one, And I'm trying to remember what the style vehicle was, but it was really neat. I mean, this thing
Yeah.
was punchy.
Yeah.
You know, they were demoing it inside of a garage, and this
Mhm.
man, it had like, man, you hit that gas and it's gone.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not gas anymore.
wow, gas
Hit
pedal.
hit the
Sorry.
go button.
Yeah,
Hit the joystick.
a pedal or whatever.
the joy- Why not make it? You know, our kids know
Jetson.
more about gaming. Why not just instead of steering wheels and
Give 'em
things,
a Xbox
give 'em
controller.
give them an Xbox controller in their car, and literally just kind of go.
I would
And then
wreck
they're
the car
going.
in
I
about
would
2 weeks.
I would never get in an accident because
I know
I've
that
been
controller.
grooming myself for 10 years
I'd be
playing
dead.
Xbox.
I would wreck. And that's why I don't play those games because I cannot stand those controllers. I would wreck.
Come up with something new. I like the old school the Atari.
Yeah.
The Atari joysticks, the little black
Little-
controller with the button on the, and I'd be like, I don't know.
It had to be something, right?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so
That's funny.
I'm surprised my brother didn't get on
Yeah,
tonight.
sure. Not
maybe,
today.
Maybe not today.
We'll
So,
catch him another day.
yeah.
But no, I think I think kits are a thing of the future.
Why not? I mean, I would totally do that in a
The,
minute.
the companies have lived for innovating add-ons. They've always done it.
Yeah.
You know, always add-ons that you could do something similar to what in all these. It's a big market,
Yeah.
so why not?
You take
Someone's
a-
gonna
you
do it
take-
if they
you
haven't done
take
it
a
already.
you take a company like Firestone.
Sure.
They sell tires. They do light medium mechanic work on your car.
Sure.
And all of a sudden you get them to go, well, we're still going to need tires. We're still going to need brakes. We're
Yeah.
still going to need all the basic stuff that they're still employed to do.
Mhm.
They can't really mess with engines, so let's just kind of figure out how to get a company like Firestone and the other, in their range,
Mhm.
get them to, figure out how to modify.
Sure.
And if it costs 10 grand,
That's probably.
I
nothing
own
in
my car
comparison
outright.
to-
If it cost me 10 grand, and maybe there's a bank that would, sponsor that, or a government
Sure.
finance kind of help with the getting to that kind of
Yeah,
situation.
because if the engine itself is gone, all of
the weight
pollution
of
and
sure,
the weight,
the pollution is
all
gone.
that stuff is gone.
You
I
know,
mean,
global warming. If we can get
I don't
30% of the
believe
cars
there's any
off the
pollution that
road,
comes off of the electric, but I could be wrong. There could be at least some trace amount of something that comes out of it. But
if I think the pollution would be what it took for the companies to manufacture those
Yeah.
parts, and
yeah.
but it's an electric motor and batteries. We're used
Yeah.
to using batteries, and electric motors are nothing new. We have them running our pool pumps in our backyard. We have them running our compressors on our air
But
conditioning
they're being
units.
powered by
Well, electricity.
fossil fuel at this point.
Well, electricity,
yeah.
which is some fossil fuels,
at
yeah,
the end of the day,
depending
yeah.
upon what side of the country you're living in.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so.
No, I mean it's going to be interesting, I think, and I think steps should be taken. I don't think you can flip a switch on it though.
No.
I just don't. I think it's a bigger problem.
No,
than
but
that.
these, as opposed to going, please, oil companies, can you please make more oil and give us more cheaper gas? When they go, start twisting their mustache.
Yeah.
We have you just right.
Yeah.
They're just not going to. They're not.
Yeah.
And but they're also afraid.
Sure.
They're afraid that we're not going to need them anymore.
Well, I mean that is the flip side of it.
We're not going to
you know.
need them anymore. We still will.
They're trying to play the middle right now.
We
to
still
make
will.
sure they're
Take their manufacturing costs down, get them off of pumping out all kinds of stuff out of the ground that, that could, the long-term effects, we have no idea what
Yeah,
that's
where
going
the
to be.
sinkholes
Get
come
the
from.
stuff, get that stuff, dealt with.
Yeah.
That way we can kind of move on to the next.
Sure.
If we're not trying to fix a problem,
I mean that's what it's always been about.
Yeah.
providing solutions.
You know, so anyway, that's pretty much it. It's after 8, and I'm hungry, so I want to go home.
I am too.
Yeah. Folks, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And
Thanks for joining.
please, what is it? Like, follow, and share. So that's it. That's all I got. We are out of here.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.